Hello. Thursday is turning into one of my favorite days to do these workouts with you because it's a time to just slow down and move our body in a slow and controlled way. So we're gonna start laying down today, and we're gonna do a lying hip opener. There's a lot of different ways to do a lying hip opener, but we are gonna start with simply extending one leg, bending the other, and laying back. You might want to manipulate your hips, find those hip bones, and make sure that they are both on the ground. I don't want one hip popping up. That's where we're gonna feel that stretch. You also might notice if you're really tight, your knee wants to pop up. Try and push that down or support that down while you can, and just lie. Your glute in this position, in the bent leg, is gonna naturally tighten. Try and let it relax. Starting with a really gentle way to open up our hips. Fight to relax that glute. You might feel some tightness happening all up your side here, depending again how tight you are. You might even be able to palpate a little bit along your side, and what that pain is from your psoas, which is your hip flexor. And that muscle actually starts here, shoots all the way down into your pelvis, wraps around your pelvic floor, or your pelvic bone, sorry, and inserts in your lower back. So a tight hip or hip flexor can cause pain here in the front of your hip and also in your low back. It's a really funky muscle. Go ahead and switch sides, extending that other leg and allowing that other leg to come up and bend. Again, naturally your glute is going to tighten. Fight for it to relax. Have both hip bones pressing towards the floor. And just relax. Breathe into it. All right, next we are going to transition into a lying figure four. So you're gonna, that leg that was just bent, extend it for me. Take the other leg, cross it over the front, reach through and pull for a figure four. On that bent knee, the inside of that bent knee, you can try and open that hip a little more. All right, this bent leg, go ahead and relax, and then extend, reach up and pull. You want that leg on the floor to be as flat as possible. You can work your way up that extended leg. You can lay back if you'd like, but we want to try and feel a stretch from our calf all the way down into our hamstrings and then our glute. Flex that toe, maybe alternate pointing and flexing. It's always important to note your flexibility is your flexibility. Wherever you are at is just fine. Go ahead and relax. Lying figure four on the other side. Extend that bent leg, for lying leg extension on the other side. Again, alternate between flexing and pointing your toe. And release. Go ahead and come on up. We are going to do a 90-90 stretch, which means both legs are bent at 90 degrees. We want there to be some distance between your knee and your heel. You don't want them together. Open that up a little bit. That's opening up your hip. And that front leg, whichever side it's on, go ahead and lean over. Now, maybe this is where you are at, and that is fine. But if you can, rest on your forearms. Take a few breaths. And switch sides. Creating that distance and laying over the front. We're going to transition now into a pigeon, which is a very similar pose, but it's where you're taking one leg, bending it forward, extending the back leg, and leaning over. Again, you might notice that this is where you're at, or maybe you can lay down into it. You want a nice flat back. Try and relax those hips. They're going to fight you. Try and allow those muscles to relax and open. Switch sides. Extend that back leg. And go down until you feel the stretch. Make sure you're breathing. Release this stretch and come into one of my favorites, which is a frog. So you're going to be in a wide position, much like you would go into a child's pose, but you're going to flare your feet out. See my feet? I'm going to lay back. Sit those hip bones back. This is a great hip opener. Spread those thighs and those knees. We're focusing, if you haven't noticed, a lot on hips today. Flip those toes inward, those feet inward, and sit back for a child's pose. Extending those arms outward. Sitting your glute muscles back towards your heels. And release. Okay, next we're going to push into a downward facing dog. Push back as far as you can, sink into it, driving those hips upward. Maybe you want to walk your dog. Then you're going to choose one leg, any leg, to step forward into a runner's lunge. Now we're going to keep that back knee up, and you want your hands inside of your leg, and just hold. Might want to play with your knee opening up. Let that back leg drop, sit up, and drive forward. Return your hands back down, lift back up, return your foot back so you're in a high plank. Drive back to downward facing dog. And move forward with the opposite side. Again, having your hands inside of your leg. Hi, Brody. Just breathing here. And push that leg a bit. Nice flat back. Drop that knee. Set up. And push forward. Release and maybe sink back into it. From here, we are actually going to sit right on our bottoms. So swivel down. I never claim to be a yoga instructor. I don't do a ton of transitions, but we are going to do a seated butterfly stretch. It is more difficult the closer you bring your heels to your body. Go in as comfortable for you, and you can use your elbows to really push and deepen that stretch. In this same position, maybe you want to relax it a little bit. We're going to reach forward in a rounded back stretch and pull. Feeling that spread in between our shoulder blades. And then release and come into a chest opener. Hi, Alice. Small story in case you haven't heard it. As you've seen in many of my videos, I have animals walking around. I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. I do not have any kiddos. Turn into a shoulder stretch for me. I do not have any kiddos, but I do have 2 cats and 2 dogs. And that is because my husband and I have been together since we were 17. And right when we got married, in our honeymoon, we were up north, and we looked at each other and we're like, switch sides. No one can stop us from getting animals anymore. And so that week we went to go get our 1 cat, and we walked away with 2. And 3 months later, we went to go get 1 puppy, and we did. Tricep stretch. And 3 weeks later, his brother was still available. And there was a picture posted of him in a sweater vest, and my heart broke in half, and so now we have 2 cats and 2 dogs. Go ahead and release now, hopefully sitting in a comfortable position. And we're gonna do my favorite stretch, a good old neck stretch. Switch sides. Roll your neck. Go back to any stretches if you need to, or take more time to stretch your body further. Should you feel you need it, if we didn't hit any spots, I know we were focused on our hips quite a bit today, so thank you for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow.